I got hit by a four-wheeler and I broke my femur. I was in the hospital 21 days. I don't know about you, bro, but these teachers were always complaining about the paychecks, about the kids, about everything. And it was like, bro, I'm getting infected by the poison.
So today with me, I have here a local legend, a Tamiami legend. For those of you that are from Miami, Tamiami basketball legend, former referee, former educator, right? What is he into? Entrepreneur. So former educator turned entrepreneur, as well as real estate investor, and a bunch of other things we're going to get to. But thank you, my man, Mr. Bryant Besu.
Thank you for the invite, my brother.
Here on Creators Over Consumers, and exactly what we're going to chop it up about. Yeah, so thank you for being here, bro. Like, biggest thing, I've been wanting to get you on and highlight your story, for one, because obviously knowing you for a while, people that don't know, Bryant and I both were and are officials, basketball officials in the officiating world. So that's how we met. And always a fun dude, always down to have a good time, and a real like relaxed and cool dude. So that's one thing I always appreciated. Sometimes in that space, a lot of people aren't still freely themselves, but you was always you, and we always had like a cool connection. So once I started, on my entrepreneurial journey, and now with this podcast, with someone like yourself, I was like, oh, he'd be a perfect person to get, because he went from W-2 to now, doing his own thing. And so just kind of want to see, like, one, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, kind of how you got into it, and yeah, pretty much like that.
For sure, brother. Right out of high school, one day I was just playing ball at LA Fitness, and some of my friends, they stopped playing, so we didn't even have enough to run 5-on-5. So I'm like, yo, where you guys going? Oh, we're gonna go referee at Tamiami. I'm like, are you stupid? Why would you go ref? They're like, oh, we're gonna get $25 an hour. I was like, damn. All right, I'm down, because like, my first job was at McDonald's in high school, right there by Tropical Park. I was making $7 an hour. So I was like, man, let me try this out. $25 basketball. I know Boba. He'll probably hire me. So I go the first day. I start training, and he gives me a chance, but I don't start reffing until months down the road. He put me as a scorekeeper. I had to pick up trash. I had to tell people to stop running around. But little by little, he started giving me games. He started sending me to Sunnyland, the games at Gulliver. And then I started liking reffing, and it was easy money. Like, when you're 18 years old making $400 or $500 a week cash, that's good money. I was down the road here at Miami-Dade College. That's where I started my educational journey. I got my AA, and then Mike Veloso, one of our guys that referees, he put me down to start substituting at Hialeah Gardens. And then, my dad is a teacher. My grandma's a teacher. So I was always with my dad. He would always pick me up. We'll go to the gym, summers off, Christmas. So I was like, you know what? I want to be a teacher. So at Miami-Dade, they had the special education program. So I got my degree there. I started teaching at South Miami High School at 3100. Which is kind of like a maternity leave for a teacher. She was going to come back, but once I got my feet wet, I started liking it. And then after that, I got my first full-time gig at Palm Glades Prep down in Goulds, which was a pretty tough school, because I go from South Miami, I'm in the area. I grew up in Westchester. It's pretty close. And then I go to Goulds, which is pretty hood. So
rough area.
It was nice. It was a cool experience. I was always like the class clown. So when I became a teacher, all the clowns became like my friends. Like I would always look out for them, because I don't want to get them in trouble. I know what you're doing. You're not a bad kid. You just want to have a good time.
Yeah.
So that was me.
So sorry. So real quick. So how long was that time period from when you first started reffing to now you're actually getting into substitute teaching? Now you're actually working in the school system. Roughly how? So you're 18. You said you started.
I was 18. I started subbing at 19.
Okay.
I got my AA quick, like in a year and a half. So there was one semester I did 3 classes, 5 classes. In one summer I did like 9 classes, bro. Crazy. Dang. 3 summer A, 4 summer B, and then I clept 2 Spanish classes, because I was like, college is too easy, bro. I'm only here from 8 to 12. Load up. I want to load up on classes. I want to graduate early. Like, I'm trying to make money,
That is one thing I would say, like, that I would notice, like, once I got to know you more, is that even though like I know you like to go out, you like me, like I like to go out, we like to dance, have a good
Yeah.
time, all the things like that. But when we would come by and we would like study, like do the referee test or whatever at your house, like you were always like, oh man, I'm studying for my next certification or this or whatever. I'm trying to get my doctorate possibly in education. I was like, dang, he's an AP already doing all this stuff. So where did that, I don't want to say drive, or what was it about maybe education that made you want to do it, or was it just like, hey, I'm just trying to get to the bag as quick as possible?
My my dad graduated college, right? And he was always like, "Yo, you could be a principal, you could be an assistant principal, like go get your master's, go get your doctorate." And it was I wanted to make him proud, but I always wanted like I thought it was easy.
Hmm.
Like it's just a couple more assignments and you have a master's, like a couple more classes, 12 more classes, I could do that. So I liked the school system and I mostly became a teacher because of the flexibility to ref
Hmm.
school. And then one of my jobs, I was teaching at Booker T. Washington. I was teaching high school. So I'll get out at 2:20 and then they'll give me the 3:30 games.
Hmm.
And then they'll give me a 7:30 game. So I was doubling up. So I was like, all right, this is the perfect job. So eventually, if I make it in D1 or the dream NBA, this is the perfect schedule. So I always wanted to make it in basketball, but I always had that. That was my first option, refing,
Hmm.
because Johnny Goble, Jason Goble, Dedrick Taylor, these guys are making six figures in 6 months.
Shout out to the Miami Legends that are
Yo,
in the
Miami referees are the best. Forget about it.
NBA.
So I was like, yo, these guys are making crazy money in half the year. That's my goal. And then I could fall back on my degrees.
Hmm.
So little by little, I wanted to keep going to school. It wasn't that hard. Like it was online. That was the easy part. So I could still go out. I could still do what I gotta do. I just gotta get on the
Take care of
laptop,
business, yeah.
do a discussion, do an assignment. That's it. It's not that hard. So
Have you always been, because with that freedom, like I know me personally, when it comes to online classes, I'm terrible with that. Like I have to, nowadays with everything online, it's tough not to be able to do it. But if I can choose to be either in a group or in a classroom setting, I like that better, because I know me, if I just leave it up to my own vices to do something online, I'm gonna put it off, I'm gonna procrastinate, and in a lot of cases. So were you always like how good of I don't say like how good of a student were you in school, but like were you always like focused like that when it came to that stuff, or is like, hey, I just see the light at the end of the tunnel, and so I'm just gonna
I mean, in
work
high
on.
school, I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't that good of a student. 2.7 GPA, nine something on the SAT. Like I wasn't,
Mhm.
and I didn't really try. But I was always pretty smart. Like if I apply myself, I can get it done. But as an online student, I was a procrastinator too, bro.
Yeah.
The discussions due Wednesday at 11.
11:59,
I'm doing it at
11:52, you
10:40. You
logging
know what
in.
I'm saying? Assignments Sunday. All right, I'm doing it Sunday. Like I just knew that I could perform under pressure. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? All right, I got to do this in an hour. I'm gonna do it. Now, as an adult, now I'm way more calculated. Okay, this is due on Sunday. Let me start doing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then I was a fake teacher. I'll tell my kids, don't procrastinate,
Yeah.
don't do it, and I'm the biggest
The biggest.
procrastinator. So I would tell them one thing and do another. While I was teaching, I was getting my master.
Hmm.
So it was a little hard teaching, refing, grading papers, lesson plans. Like you were an educator, you did athletics and stuff, but it takes a lot
It's
to be
yeah.
a teacher.
People think it's because you get the summers off and things like that. And shout out to all the teachers out there. I don't want to say real educators, but like I said, I was a PE teacher, so I was same way how you talked about being the class clown. I was like the cool teacher.
Yeah,
You know
for
what I mean?
sure.
So I didn't have all of the kids at the same time the entire day, or for like a very extenuated or a long time throughout the day. So I got to switch them out, and they essentially get. I mean, we do stuff, we do workouts and things like that, but essentially they got to play in class. They get to let off some
Of
steam.
course.
And I've always been good with kids. So even like from back in the day in high school and stuff, um, you know, shout out to Go All Pro basketball camp, Willie Guardiola and Cesar Odio, rest in peace,
Yeah.
Coach O. But I grew up going to that camp, so I started, like once I hit 18, I was too old to go. I started becoming a counselor, and I've always loved hoops. So, you know, and I've always liked to mentor and teach. So I think that's where like my teaching uh,
Started.
gear kind of started is with coaching. I was doing training, skills training for a little while, coaching in high school while I was refereeing, and we'll get into the basketball stuff too. But I think that's where it started for me. So that's how I ended up in the education system. How did you get into like? Well, you said that your dad was a teacher and everything like that. You came from like a family of teachers, but like, what about teaching? Because to be in it every day
Yeah.
is not easy. Yes, you get the summers off, but like you said, there is planning. First of all, your summer gets cut short because you got to be there at least 2 weeks beforehand, ready to
Sure.
plan, getting your rooms ready, things like that. You have somebody's not always well-behaved kids every day. You have to deal with these issues, and then sometimes you realize it's not even the kids. It's not even the kids' fault. It's like, oh, unfortunately you see like some of the parents that come. It's like, oh, that's why you're acting. That's why you act like that. Especially nowadays. I don't know about for you, but growing up, in a Caribbean household, and probably the same for you. It's like my parents don't even ask what they thought, what I thought. We're not asking Marlon what he thinks. Oh, you got in trouble. What did he do? Exactly. Asking the teacher. Like the teacher's word is gospel. Now, once I became a teacher, you probably saw the same thing. Is that they'll believe their children in a heartbeat. Mind you, the child's 7, 8 years old. It's like they don't even know what they ate for lunch yesterday, and you're gonna. So
one of the reasons I left was you can't. There was one year where it was like you can't suspend kids anymore. Like you can't.
This was in high school?
This was in a middle school. I was in Hialeah. There was like a big point of emphasis. Don't suspend kids because then they're losing class time. Like there's a bunch of steps before you suspend them that we should do. Write a letter home, talk to the parents. But I'm like, yo, if you're breaking the rules like big time, like get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Hey guys, it's Marlon with Event Center Miami, and I just want to let you know that here at Event Center Miami, we're a boutique event venue catering to all of your event planning needs. From keynotes to corporates, baby showers to weddings, you name it, we do it. Right here, located across from Hungry Bear Sub Shop, we're just across from Miami-Dade College Kendall campus, and we are here for any type of event and party planning needs. Be sure to hit us up at eventcentermiami.com or 305-481-9460.
So I got my master's in administration, and I was a behavior management teacher in Palm Springs. So
that's funny. The class clown becomes a behavior management teacher. but sometimes the best one, because same way, like I wasn't a class clown per se, but I had my little times, but I was kind of more sneaky with it. But you know how to deal with those type of kids because you were like one of them.
So behavior management, I know what you're doing, brother. I know how to talk to kids, and I was never like I don't baby kid. I talk to them like an adult. This is what you're doing. This is what's gonna happen. Let's try to do this in the middle so we have a different result. So that school, Palm Springs Middle, was a hub for students with autism. Over 100 kids with autism. So whenever the kids had crisis, like they would literally hurt themselves, hurt other kids, or like damage properties. So I was the guy on call that would walkie-talkie me, and I would have to go save the day. I was certified in a thing called safe crisis management. So how to restrain kids and not really hurt them or them hurt themselves, because sometimes they'll punch themselves. So I would have to basically like jujitsu these kids where I'm not hurting them. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
And it was stressful, bro, because the first year that I got there, the kids were good. There was maybe 3 or 4 out of the 100 that were really bad. They're nonverbal and they're really violent. They can't really communicate.
And sorry, so we're all kids. We're all the students there on the spectrum, somewhat.
Yeah,
or
100.
it's just okay.
It was like 800 kids, but there was a big like a big hub of autism. So my days were pretty easy because I didn't have to. They didn't have crisis every day. It was once in a while something would trigger them. Boom! I gotta go save the day. Then COVID happened. A year and a half of these kids on a laptop walking around in their underwears. The parents are not really enforcing the rules like a school. Here they have a routine. They gotta go to lunch. They gotta share. They gotta do stuff at home. The parents are working. Sometimes they're not even there. So these kids lost the structure. When they come back, these kids, it was like happening every day now, crisis and crisis and crisis. They would scratch me. They would take off their mask and spit. It
Damn.
was like really getting to me, man. So the job wasn't fun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So I made a decision. Okay, I took a leave of absence. Okay, I was like, look, I want to finish my doctorate, and that's when I already started the business, the Besu Customs business. So let me see if I go. This was part time. I was already making pretty good money on the business. If I go full time, what happens? Maybe I could make more money. Maybe I could, finish my doctorate and then start the business or whatever. So this I took the leave of absence. I was out for 3 months. I knocked out all my classes and then I was gonna start my dissertation. But my business started growing tremendously. So I was like, man, I don't think I should go back to school because if my business is making more than my master's degree, my specialist, my doctor credits, what's the point? Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm already away from the kids. Like, yeah, I love them, but I love myself more. I think I have a
You gotta
bigger
do.
future if I invest everything into me. So that was something that I did, and it worked out. I mean, I see you doing stuff also. I think that the school system is good for a short period of time
Mm-hmm.
because we're talented individuals. We have a lot of skills. We're people
Mm-hmm.
we could work with people. And I think I made a right decision. I made the right move for myself. I miss it, but sometimes I'm scared. Like, what if I would have never made that
Yeah.
move?
Nah, man, that's dope, bro. Because that was what you said. That was after 2020, and I want to ask your opinion on because one that COVID was a wild time, man.
Yeah.
Like, um, I remember kind of like to what you're saying, because that was one thing with me. I was like, am I really gonna start teaching PE online? Like,
What is it?
what am I doing? Like, we're out here. Like, granted, it was a crazy time. Nobody knew what to expect. So, but you still have to be a teacher. So I'm there trying to be online, trying to, you know, you can make kids work out online that aren't, like you said, aren't supervised by their parents. There's nobody even home. First of all, I remember we would get some like emails, and not necessarily me personally, but uh, I was seeing this across the country, like on the news and stuff. Teachers were getting emails, or even at our school, teachers would get emails saying that, hey, like of the parents complaining to the teacher that why didn't you like call my child to wake them up or whatever. It's like, ma'am, excuse me,
Yeah.
like what are we talking about? Like, I understand that you had a job, you have a job, parents got to get to work earlier and da da da, but it's not my job to wake up your child. And what am I going to do from a computer anyways? So like the responsibility thing was crazy. And then like you said, for me too, like I felt like I had to make a change because I thought about going to another school, doing something else a little bit while, because it is a little bit, I don't say a cushy life. I don't want to disrespect teachers like that, but having that based, thank God my school was still open,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of teachers schools closed down, teachers lost their jobs, things like that. So thank God, you know, like I was able to at least still have that and be able to kind of figure out some stuff. But that's when I personally went on a deep dive of personal development, finances. I had certain things, and I knew I was blessed and in a good situation for my age at the time. Um, but I was like, let me really understand what I have. At the time, I had a mortgage or whatever, but I didn't really know what that meant. It's like, oh, now I'm actually understanding the nuances of it. This is that. We'll get into all that stuff. But you mentioned something in regards to school, and now that you're an entrepreneur and you're doing your own thing, you mentioned that with school there's the structure of it. You be in there a certain time, and a lot of times nowadays you hear these things online, these discussion points of the school actually, school is meant to make workers, not necessarily business owners, creators, things of that nature. So what do you think of it, and what do you think are probably like, you're probably an advocate of education, but what do you think of those type of statements, those type of talking points, and like how it's changed for you? And
I agree, man. College is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
or just even like the school system in
The
general, like
school
how
system.
they like how they structure.
So me, I was reading and language arts teacher,
Mhm.
right? But my curriculum was terrible. Like, what am I teaching these kids? These poems that Some people get, some people don't. But how does that apply to your real life? It's boring for a lot of these kids. So my classes, I was out like teaching outside the box tremendously. You know what I'm saying? Like, luckily, I was never observed as a teacher. You know how you get
Mm-hmm.
observed and where your lesson plans and stuff. I had a binder full of lesson plans, but I never taught the book because they either you teach the book that the state gives you or get these kids ready for the test. Never, bro. I did group projects. I would print out lyrics. This, like, you know how you want to learn vocabulary,
Mm-hmm.
metaphor, all that stuff? That's what I did, like real life stuff. Yo, bring me a song that you like. Let's break it down. Let's learn something. I'm going to teach you guys credit cards. I'm going to teach you different things that makes it fun. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like school is not for everybody. Like to just sit down for no, 7 hours
Say
a
yeah,
day,
8 hours. Yeah,
brother. I want to move. I was the kid that I'll go to the bathroom 3 times in one period.
absolutely. You're talking to
Bored, brother.
everybody.
I want
Everybody's
to, yo,
skipping in
no, I
between.
gotta go to the bathroom, drink water. I'm looking for somebody because it's boring. So back in the days when I was in middle school, in West Miami, we had a wood shop class. We
Mm-hmm.
had like different trades that you could apply later on in life. It's like Miami doesn't really have that. Now there's a lot of magnets, a lot of academies, nursing, vets, and all that stuff. But in middle school and earlier, there's not those type of classes that give these kids something to look forward to go to school.
Yeah, they had that when I was there too, like in high school too. But they, I'm sure, like with a lot of things, I know like the education system, they've taken a lot of things out there. They've taken out music in a lot of schools. They've taken out, some of the performing and fine arts. So I wonder how that, like with the trades too. Like I feel like now, especially in today's day and age, that's such a skill to have because everybody's getting so used to being on a computer online. Nobody knows how to fix
It's a
a sink
loss.
anymore or whatever. So now, I hear that the new wave is going to be more so trade. So if people are really want to like, do
Yeah,
some
man.
business, make some money, like how many people know how to fix their AC? You're going to call somebody. And then
No,
I,
and then in these schools, it's the pick of the litter. We're gonna get the best kids for these magnets. When really these kids that are the bad kids, we gotta give them a chance to like do something to give them. They're not gonna be if you can't pass middle school or high school. How are you gonna pass a college course?
mm-hmm,
They can barely read. They don't have the motivation to do something. They don't teach entrepreneurship. They don't teach none of this stuff. So the curriculum for me was another reason why I got out. One, you can't suspend these kids. You can't discipline them how you want to. So it started being unattractive to me to go to work every day.
yeah,
Like, what am I doing? So I was looking forward to entrepreneurship. I learned a lot. One book that really changed my life was Rich Dad Poor Dad.
mm-hmm,
Okay, I was a reading teacher, right?
mm-hmm.
I never read. What is this, bro? So I'll read the passage to the kids, but then after school, I'm refing, I'm playing ball, I'm
Yeah.
partying, I'm doing whatever, I'm doing my master's. I never gave time to myself to read, to get better, smarter, learn from people that have done it, you know? So since all that time in COVID, I started cranking out books on Audible. I don't really listen to music. It's all podcasts and books.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know any of these new rappers. I'm still
Couldn't tell
trying to
you.
learn.
I don't feel like knowing any of them. So I'm all
Like
right.
exactly. I'm still trying to learn the old music
Yeah.
from the 70s,
Yeah.
the 80s, and 90s.
Absolutely.
I don't know anything now, for real. I
Yeah.
don't know anything.
Anything after like
2000,
2010 is
exactly.
like
I don't know anything. So it's all books, it's all podcasts. I'm constantly listening and learning from people that I look up to, that I want to be like, that I want to do similar things like them, you know? So in COVID, me and my friend Mikey Martinez, he's the first one that made me, he left teaching, right? He
Mm-hmm.
was a
I
teacher
remember
for
he was there
10
for like
years.
10 years.
Teacher
Yeah.
10 years, basketball coach at 10 years, South Miami High School. Him and Doc ran the basketball scene for a decade. And he has 3 kids and a wife, and she's also a teacher. But they were living paycheck to paycheck. You know, they'll do their trips to Disney and all that stuff. And he's like, yo, I'm gonna leave the school system. I was like, yo, you're crazy.
Mm-hmm.
How? How are you gonna support all these people? He's like, I'm gonna put my house on Airbnb and I'm gonna move in with the in-laws and we're gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. He did it, and now he's got like 12 properties, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Shout out to Miggy, man. I remember hearing his story. He was on a podcast that I seen, and he like went in. I knew of it a little bit, but he went in depth of the story and like what went into it. I was like, man,
Yeah,
that's
man.
what's up.
That's one of my best friends since I was a little kid. We went to Miami-Dade together. We took education classes together. We became teachers at the same time, special education. And what he did really inspired me because I was on the same boat. Like I was living at my house. I had 3 roommates, my friend Mandy, my friend Stephanie, and then another one of my friends, Eduardo, in efficiency. But I was still like paycheck to
Mm-hmm.
paycheck, and I didn't really have like I felt like I was in the rat race.
Mm-hmm.
I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I'm like, bro, I'm this guy. I'm living like a poor, like I
Mindset.
have a poor mindset. I gotta think big. I gotta take risks, and after listening and reading all these books, I started making goals and started really pushing myself to do more because me and you, we have a tremendous network. You know what I'm saying? Like in the basketball world and the
Mm-hmm.
educational world, and all the people that I look up to, they say your network is
Your
gonna
network,
make you rich. You know what I'm saying? I've
network is
always
your
thought
net worth.
myself as rich. You're Jamaican, so Bob Marley in an interview, they're like, "Oh, are you rich?" He's like, "What do you mean rich?"
Oh,
I love that.
yeah.
That always hit me. I saw that as a little kid, and I think I'm super rich with friendship, with health, with family. Probably not financially
Mm-hmm.
before. Now I'm more comfortable, but that stuff really impacted me. And now I really see myself doing things that I like. I
Mm-hmm.
wake up every day and I'm doing things that I want to do instead of driving in traffic to Hialeah every day and wrestling these kids. Like it was stressful. Now I wake up, I know what I want to do. I have plans. I see the future like unfolding,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm really happy to be surrounded by friends that are doing similar things. Mikey's doing Airbnb. You're doing event center. Fui's doing
The
courtside.
league.
My other friend Danny, he started a brand called DSBG. Don't
Mm-hmm.
settle, be great. So I'm I'm only around people doing like things. You know,
Yeah.
we always bounce ideas off of each other, and it's a cool place to be with people that are doing things like you because when I was in the 9 to 5, I was in the rat race. These teachers are all, I don't know about you, bro, but these teachers were always complaining
Mm-hmm.
about the paychecks, about the kids, about everything. And it was like, bro, I'm getting infected
Yeah.
by the poison, bro.
It's crazy because I know they say, and some of the stuff that you hear online or even that you read a lot in books sometimes, some of it can be super cliche when it comes to kind of like you're saying, like, oh, your network is your net worth and things like that. And some of it is true. But the one thing that I didn't understand, but to what you're speaking about is, and it happens in officiating too, especially. But and I'm guilty of this. We're all guilty of this. You're it's water cooler talk. You're complaining about, like you said, the kids, the job, the paycheck, if you're a referee, like, oh, maybe the amount of games you're getting and things like that. And you, everybody else can relate with that. So you guys start bouncing that off of each other. But
Yeah,
once you guys put that energy into the air, like it really gives it power. And then essentially there is like almost like a cloud over you, over the performance. And then essentially it probably affects you and you don't even realize. It's
for
like,
sure.
oh, I'm not getting these games or I'm not getting these opportunities because of this and that and da da da. But what you're not realizing is that it actually prevents you from that because now you're limiting yourself. You're you're in it to where like you're not even trying now or putting forth your best effort and just like kind of working and grinding ahead. But
100%, man. I am I fault myself so much because now that I have my referee academy, I'm training all of my friends, a bunch of people that are interested in refing, right? And I tell them all the stuff that I've done. I've done the district championships, regional finals, state championships, college for a bunch of years. They're like, damn, bro, I want to be like you. And then when I was in it, I was always complaining
mm-hmm.
instead of saying, instead of being appreciative and
Yeah.
being like, yo, I'm here, I'm doing good. Thank you for giving me a conference game. I was always complaining, like, I'm better than this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I should be in D1 already. Like, this game sucks.
Yeah.
But then behind me, there's a bunch of people that want my job
Mm-hmm.
that would love to be in the spot that I am. And I didn't realize that until I got out of it.
Mm.
Until a few years ago, I was like, damn, man, I was pretty good in reffing. I had good games. I missed the camaraderie. I had good friends. Like I had it. I was there. But then I would always complain, oh, this guy doesn't like me. He doesn't pick me up.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, that energy, I would put it out there. And now that guy really doesn't
Yeah,
like me
absolutely.
because I don't even know this guy. How is he not going to
Yeah.
like me? He doesn't even know me. No, he doesn't like Miami guys. Who said that?
Yeah.
Who made, why did I make that up?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So I'm big on the self talk. I'm big on the positivity. I'm big on putting the right energy out there because it does work and it does hurt at the same time. If
Yeah.
you say stuff or things that are not going to happen, they won't happen. But if you keep working, if you keep doing what you got to do, it's probably going to come out the way you want it, you know?
Yeah.
Hey there, it's Marlon with Event Center Miami. If you want to stay up to date on the latest news and exclusive deals that we have going on here at our venue, please be sure to sign up for our newsletter at www.eventcentermiami.com. There you'll receive an updated calendar of monthly events, as well as be the first to know of any special promotions and deals that we have going on so you can save big here at our venue. Again, that's eventcentermiami.com. And the best part, it's free. Go ahead and sign up for our newsletter now. Thanks a lot.
A lot of people that want to try and get into the entrepreneurship space or creating something of their own, which I commend everybody that is trying to do it, and I would absolutely advocate for it, especially if you're in a W-2 situation, whatever the case, especially nowadays with the economy, inflation, all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
You almost have to try and find a way to do some other stuff because, like you said, at any minute there could be a shutdown. You lose your job, this, God forbid something happened health-wise, and then you're in a bind. So I was listening to something the other day that's pretty much said, like, if you're comfortable, being comfortable is not the move. If you're comfortable, then that means you're actually like behind or failing because you're not actively either trying to pursue or get better. And that's one thing I noticed about me, even when I was teaching. Like you said, it was very easy. It was something that gave me the freedom to referee, which I still do. It gave me the summers off because we got to go to camps and all that stuff. And I felt like that was kind of keeping me stagnant a little bit too. I wasn't trying to get better or anything. I wasn't, leveling up at anything. I wasn't trying, because at the same time too, I wasn't trying to be the teacher of the year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So I think it's different when you're actually in something you like to a certain degree, but then also what's your thoughts on, people say, chase your passion and your dreams and things like that, but passion ain't always pain.
Yeah.
So like, what are your thoughts on, doing something you like versus actually, hey, there's a plan where this is a nice career path where I can kind of move up, and then from there, maybe I can branch off.
I think I'm big into the MMA world, the UFCs and all that stuff. And when I was younger, the guy that impacted me a lot was McGregor, right? Conor McGregor. He always said something like, you're not born with talent. You got to be obsessive and you got to outwork everybody. You know what I'm saying? So really putting in the time every single day on something you like, you're going to see results. Because there's days where I'll go to sleep, I'll have my to-do list ready to go. I wake up, I start crossing things out, and that day I killed it. And I'm like, bro, if I do this every day, I'm going to be more successful. I'm going to get closer to where I want to go. But like you said, comfort is a killer. I was fine making my 40, 50K teaching. I was fine with my sick days and all this stuff. But it didn't really push me to go do more. Because I was like, man, I'm getting my check in 2 weeks. I'm fine. I'm like I'm living the dream, bro. I'm fine. I got a car. I have my own little place. I'm chilling. But I always thought I could do more, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing all these people on YouTube, on Instagram, or whatever, I'm like, bro, if he
got
can do
20-year-old kids making millions,
guy
like,
could
what am I doing wrong?
I can do it too. Because coming from a competitive background, basketball, all that stuff, we're the little guys, bro. I'm 5'11", but when we play those big guys and we beat them, okay, I could, like,
Mm-hmm.
we're more than just little guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can do big things. So I come from a competitive family too. My brother was a Taekwondo gold medalist. My dad was a state champ, 3-time letterman in college, and you can't be like soft at my house, and you can't like settle. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like my dad will look at me like, "Wait, what are you doing? That's it. That's all you're gonna do."
Tough
So
love, yeah.
tough love. So it was always like, okay, I gotta do more. I gotta do more. And
And I'm sure it wasn't in as nice of words either
no,
a lot of the times.
he barely speaks English, so he's got his own type of way to really communicate. But back to what you said, sometimes your passion doesn't bring the bills, but I think if you're having fun and you're liking what you're doing and really going after it, I think that's better than being stuck at a job that you don't like,
Mhm.
that maybe is paying the bills, but you hate. You hate the people you're around. So, I mean, it's hard, bro. Miami's expensive.
Yeah, especially
I,
nowadays.
I had to live with 3 other people. Then one time I threw in a trailer on the side of my house and I rented that out. And then, like I was telling you the story earlier, I had a Corvette. I loved it.
Mhm.
I had to sell it to get rid of some debt, but I always saw the bigger picture. Let me get clear of this debt. I got the money to refinance my house. I invested everything I have and then some. I put in over 100K into the house because Mikey told me, look, if you renovate your house, you put on Airbnb, you're going to make more than your teaching salary, maybe double. I saw his numbers. He wasn't lying, but I was always like, bro, I'm in Westchester. I'm not in the Little Gables like
Mhm.
he is. Who's going to come to Westchester? You know what I'm saying? Like I was always scared, like it's a risk.
Scarcity mindset. Yeah, that it's
Scared.
almost like a limiting belief too.
So I was
And
like scared. I moved in with my girlfriend and her mom. Luckily, they let me stay there for like 6 months during the construction. But once I started putting on an Airbnb, I was making way more money than I was teaching. So I think people are scared because, yeah, you have to pay the bills. That's number one. Like you need to eat, you need to sleep. But I learned to live below my means.
Mhm.
Because a big problem that I see with people in Miami, they get a raise, they're spending more money. So you go from 70K to 100K. Now
We had the club
my
popping
$500
bottles.
lease is $900 lease instead of keeping your same lifestyle
Mhm.
and saving more money to then invest. And then that money's going to make you more money. Mikey taught me your money is used to make more money. I put in that 100K, right? So not only am I making money monthly, my equity shot up.
Mhm.
Like my house right now is crazy. I just appraised it. It's like crazy what they're giving me for the house.
Yeah, I want to unpack that. So like before we even get down to that route, you and you can get into the story about I want you to get into the story about like how you actually got it and we're kind of blessed to. But from my understanding, and you can correct me like fix where I'm wrong, from my understanding, I remember seeing you even when we was refereeing because you were refereeing. When did you get out of refereeing like college basketball and stuff like that?
I got out like in 2019, right
2019.
before COVID. That
Yeah,
was
so
my
even
last season.
before that, when we were, reffing and doing the thing, teaching, like you said, you're out having fun, you had a home, you
Yeah,
had a mortgage.
yeah.
So how did you tell the story of how you were able to get that home, and then now how that progressed into you now renting it out, Airbnb, and all that stuff?
I mean, uh, I got hooked up big time. My mom, she got a boyfriend in Deltona. So we were living, it was me, my mom, and her boyfriend living in my house. I grew up in my house. I was born there. And they moved upstate, right? So
Daytona Beach.
Deltona.
Oh, where's that?
It's in the it's 20 minutes from Daytona.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
little bit in, and it's half an hour from
Mhm.
Orlando. So she told me, she's like, look, I found a beautiful house over here for 260. I'm gonna sell you the house for 260. So I'm basically living for free. So with the house that she sold, the Miami house, she sold it to me. She paid that one off. But at the time, the house was $450,000. So she basically sold me the house half
Half
off.
off.
So at the time, I was a teacher. I was only making 40 something grand plus the refing. I was like gathering everything.
Mhm.
And I still almost didn't get approved because The mortgage was like $1,300. It wasn't a lot, but with taxes and insurance, with only one salary, it was hard. But I'm super lucky that she gifted me a house half price. Right now, the house I just got at a price for $830. So she hooked it up big time. It's a huge lot. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. You know, like I got hooked up, bro. I know people don't get that same handout. You know, she could have given it to me for free, but I like what she did. She still made me learn how to pay a mortgage and be responsible and all that stuff. But growing up, my family, they had 5 properties at one point. So they were teaching. My dad was a teacher. My mom worked in the post office for almost 30 years. But then we had a place in the Keys. We had 2 apartments on the beach. And then the house right in front of mine, they also bought and they rented everything.
So you guys had always been in some type of real estate.
Yeah, but growing up, I thought like, okay, everybody does this, you know. But then,
and the home that you're in now, was that before she sold it to you? Was it already paid off?
Yeah, man.
So she make you
They bought the house
so
for like 70 G's.
Yeah,
in
80s or something.
80 something, and then the house right in front of mine, they bought it in 90 something for like 80 G's. So then with 5 properties, they were just knocking out all these mortgages. Everything was paid off. So they were just picking up thousands of dollars every month. So I was like, you guys are getting how much money for nothing? They're just living in it. So then I started like, okay, real estate is where it's at. Started reading the books. I started seeing, okay, this is the way you level up. This is the way you grow your net worth. And it was like another salary. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm teaching, but I'm also making another $2,000-$3,000 in rent. So it was something that I was kind of born into. Not a lot of people have families with other properties. Some people don't inherit anything, you know. So I got super lucky. I'm having friends right now that have trouble buying properties because the prices are crazy, bro.
And then people's wages haven't gone up.
Yeah, like, okay, you just graduated, you're making 60, 70 G's, but you can't pay a mortgage, bro. So now you need a girl that makes money, so both of you could try to do it together. So, I mean, I got super blessed. I got hooked up with that house, and that house had a lot of equity already. So when I refinanced, I got that money, and then now I have even more equity because I renovated it completely. It's basically brand new. I just kept the shell. I gutted it and I did everything inside. So now that equity is going to allow me to buy more stuff and keep investing, you know?
Gotcha. So I'm always interested. So like, even though you were blessed, like you said, to have that situation, were your parents actively teaching you about real estate as you guys were younger? Or it's kind of like, hey, this is what we have, and then now that you're older and grown up and you're asking stuff, then it was that? Because I know some people, they're like, from a young age, they're essentially teaching their kids math on P&Ls and different type of sheets and spreadsheets and things like that, versus, some people may just have it, but it's like, whenever they're ready, then I'll kind of explain it.
Yeah.
I was like,
I was never really taught real estate.
Even though you guys had it and you didn't even
Had
realize.
it because we're Caribbean, you know. We like the beach, we like the Keys, right? Jet skis, all that stuff. So they just wanted a little getaway. They bought a little lot in a place called Calusa for like 30 G's. We put a trailer. We're there every weekend. They paid that off in no time. Now those same lots are going for $300K. So, I mean, it was a different time. The prices were crazy cheap. 50 G's back in the 90s was pretty good money. Now it's like not that much, broke, you know. Yeah. So I talked to both of them. Now that I'm really focused, I talk to them, and they both they wish they did more. Because they were scared, like, yo, what if they don't pay the rent? What if they're like, man, the money that they were making, they were probably making 100K a year, right? They're like, we could have bought houses every single year.
Yeah.
They could have, like, they would let houses on my block go because they thought $150,000 was expensive. They didn't know these houses were gonna be $700,000-$800,000. So they look back and they're like, man, we wish we would have bought more because they would have been millionaires.
Of course.
They would have bought the block. They would have bought more stuff. So I wasn't taught it, But I did see the different properties, and I was like, yo, how do we own like a beach apartment? How do we own something
Yeah.
here and there? Now I realized it was cheap.
Hmm.
You know, they were two successful parents. They were able to buy and invest. But I mean, I see it now. Now I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to partner up with Mikey. We're trying to buy stuff
Hmm.
together, rent stuff, and it's a little more difficult because the prices are so up. But it is like, imagine I just put in $100,000 to my house, but the equity went up almost 200. So it's a no brainer for me that this is the way to go.
Yeah, and I think the thing that works too is that, yeah, you always have maybe a little bit of buyer's remorse, like when your parents talking about they wish they would have done more, but at the same time, even just doing what they did has been so like massive. And sometimes the thing that I see now is like sometimes everybody wants to jump into kind of whatever's sexy with the real estate and this and that, but they could be going about it the wrong way or not knowing really, and they just whatever they see on YouTube. So the way your parents did it, was slow and steady. And real estate is
Yeah.
it's a slow game. It's about the appreciation and all that stuff like that. Because like you said, maybe they're making a couple extra thousand from rents, but the real money, the real value is now 10, 20 years later.
Yeah.
You said whatever 70,000 they bought a house, it's worth 800 or whatever it is now. Like that's crazy.
Ridiculous.
So now that's a shout out to mom and pops for that. But I actually want to get to that too because like obviously I see you and your dad are like best friends. You look like, so how has family, like talk about like your like growing up, like you know Westchester, all that stuff, and like how you grew up here in Miami, and like how that kind of like shaped you and like kind of how you are now, how that took you on your journey from maybe the refereeing, the teaching, to now being able to have that entrepreneurial spirit and do stuff on your own, because it is a big,
Yeah,
it's a
man.
big undertaking. It ain't for
Sure.
everybody.
So I always say I'm like half my dad and I'm like half my mom, right? My dad was always the I guess the scared type. Like he was the one that was holding back, like, no, let's not get more houses
More
because the
safe,
rent's
yeah.
safe. My mom was always like, yo, let's do it. Let's keep going. My dad was the hardest worker I've seen. He was a teacher back in the days, started a painting company. This guy would do everything. He would not stop working. So I got that from him. But then I got the other side of my mom. My mom loves to travel. My mom
Mhm.
loves culture. She loves all that other stuff. And I'm a little bit of both, but I got the best qualities of both, and now I became myself. I mean, I travel like crazy.
Yeah.
I think life is a lot about balance. Some people are work, 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 work. They don't do anything for themselves,
Hmm.
or the other way, they just do everything for themselves and they don't really build for the future. So at the same time that I'm making these investments and making these moves, I'm still enjoying life, bro, because I mean, there's only one
Hmm.
shot. We only have like one time to create these memories and build something. And every time I go on these vacations, I come back rejuvenated. I have a new vision. I always think like I gotta put in more work because I
Hmm.
want to vacation more. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So for me, um, having parents, my parents got divorced at 15. It's not the same like when people get divorced in their elementary, and then I
Hmm.
don't have a dad. Luckily, I still saw my parents every day. So I would live half in Westchester, half in Sweetwater
Hmm.
with my dad and my grandma. They both went to all my basketball games. Like, I mean, it's very important to have parents that are, maybe they don't get together, but they parent. Like
Co-parent, yeah,
my
that's a big
dad
thing.
will whoop my ass. My mom, if my mom said something, she's 5'2", but she's
That
strong.
chancleta's
Like
coming for the back of your head,
chancleta,
bro.
pecheros, for sure. And she's from Ecuador,
Mm,
and in Ecuador, they whoop over there.
yeah.
So I mean, I learned quickly. I don't like to get my ass kicked.
Hmm.
So I was always the good kid, My
Hmm.
brother was more of a rebel, but my brother was a big influence for me. I learned everything from him. He's 6 years older than me. And I mean, bro, family is very important to me.
Yeah.
So having those talks, my parents are the talkers. They give you the life lessons. They don't let anything slide.
Hmm.
And they really, any question that I have, they give me their honest advice. They'll tell me, listen, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, chill out, you could get in trouble. And sometimes, I gotta take the fall. I'm a hard head sometimes, but they're always there for me. Years more of experience for me. I used to not want their advice because as kids, as parents, you don't really want to listen to your parents. I want to do it my way. But now, I mean, they know so much, and maybe they don't have the degrees I have, but they got way more life experience, and they always steer me in the right direction. So, shout out to the Besu family.
Shout out to mom and pops, man. I feel like too, kind of where you're saying, like, they may not have exactly what you have, but essentially what you have is from them. But the thing that I noticed, and like with my dad, I think with immigrant parents in general, it's like you said, my dad, he don't kind of like what you were saying about your dad, like he just doesn't stop working. Like, and I would say, so I don't know, is your dad the same way in that, like he was the one that never took time off or anything like that? Because like you said, I do believe you should be able to reap the benefits. Sometimes you're just in it so much. It's like, maybe that is what makes him happy, just working is what, but I'm sometimes like, bro, you work too damn hard. Like, what are you, bro? Like, what? Like, how I can't, like, and the thing that whatever it is, where they say, oh, like you're, the same way I think nowadays, like kids aren't built the same way as the generation before and before and before. It's true, I believe, but it's also like, man, it's just crazy to see, like, maybe because the struggle is greater, so you kind of just have to go through it. Yeah. But like, what have you seen, like, when it comes to that? Because I know, like, my dad, he's a workaholic and he's always fixing something, painting something on the house, whatever, putting stuff together, taking it down, breaking it apart. But he also likes that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think my dad's 70 years old, right? This guy never stops. Like, he does not stop. Like, you'll just sit down, chill for a little bit. No. He'll go help the neighbor with something. He'll just call people. Yo, you need help? He'll paint all my friends. He paints their houses. He just painted one of my friend, Andre, his daughter's room. He had a girl painted the room pink. He just wants to help, and he won't charge anybody. Yeah. Like, this guy will work for free. He's that type of person. He'll give and give and give, and he's happy with that. Because if you stick him at home, this guy is gonna be bored as hell. Like, he's so active. He for sure. I know in the 50s they didn't have ADHD, but this guy is so hyper, bro. It's like, yo, just chill out a little bit. Yeah. I'm young, bro. I'm 33, but he wears me out sometimes. He wants to go to courtside every day, watch all the games. He asked for the schedule. Yesterday, I watched the national championship with him. Like, he's with it, Yeah. And I mean, I just went to Puerto Rico because he had his 50th anniversary, graduating college, class of 74. And he was the most hyped old man there. All the old guys are like grandparents and like slow. And he's like, yo, get me away from these old people. Yeah. He loves being with young people. And, everybody in Miami knows my dad. He's always involved. He's always talking with the younger folks. And that's what keeps him young. I mean, I see people when they retire, they don't have anything to do. They age so fast. So, I mean, I really look up to him in that way because I could talk to him about anything, and he knows all the news. He knows all the conspiracies and all that stuff. I mean, it's good, man. It's good. I think he's doing good for 70.
Hey, man, if he's still around kicking and like you said, he's out everywhere, then and that makes him happy, then absolutely. Because every time I see your dad, like he's always at the games with you. See him at everything, basketball in Miami, give him a salute, whatever, if I'm reffing and things like that. So, it's super dope. But one of the reasons why I wanted to have you here on this podcast is essentially what you got on your chest, the Besu Customs. So going back, locally, you played at Coral Park, played basketball. I always been into basketball. You got into refereeing, things like that. Then you were telling me that obviously you blew out your knee back in. Go through the story of how you blew out your knee and then how you got into Besu Customs.
Hey there, event enthusiasts. It's Marlon from Event Center Miami, and I've created something special just for you. It's my free 7-step checklist to planning your next successful event. Whether you're the go-to event planner in your family or you dream of producing larger scale events, this checklist has got you covered. It's your in-depth guide to kickstarting your event planning journey, with tips from everything from initial concept to post-event follow-up. And as an added treat, there's a bonus chapter that details how to turn your passion into profit. So if you're ready to unlock your blueprint to planning your next successful event, go ahead and click the link down below in the description for my free 7-step checklist to seamless celebrations. And let's turn your passion into profit together. Happy planning.
So 2019 spring break, I'm a teacher, right? I go to LA Fitness, I'm playing ball, and I try to make a move, right? And my right foot stays planted, and I just spun completely. My kneecap dislocated. So I tore my MCL and then I fractured my patella in two. I needed screws. I needed to reattach the ligament, all this stuff. And I'm like, bro, I'm a ref. So I'm like, bro, I have camp in like a few months. Like, what am I going to do? I don't even know if I'm going to run the same because as a kid, I broke my femur. I got hit by a four-wheeler and I broke my femur. I was in the hospital 21 days, body cast. I was homeschooled the rest of fourth grade. And then I'm just getting those thoughts again, like, damn, what if I can't run full speed? What if my leg is shorter? What if I have a limp? You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I need to do something. So my family in Ecuador has a uniform company, and Ecuador is mostly soccer, track, whatever, volleyball, beach volleyball. They're not big in basketball. They don't really do cheerleading over there. So I was like, let me this is at the same time I was trying to start my own basketball league, Miami Basketball League. I wanted to start it a 5-on-5 at Coral Park. COVID hit. I already had it in the works, but I had already ordered my first batch of uniforms, like samples, basketball stuff. I had shipped a bunch of stuff from here over there. They were able to match it. You know, if cotton is cotton, dry polyester is polyester. But they were just getting used to the cuts. I send them a bunch of size charts, and little by little they started getting better at this stuff. So I was like, okay, maybe I could be a uniform provider. And my friend Dre, he runs ASAP basketball. He's like, yo, can you make me some team uniforms? He was my first order ever.
Nice.
I don't think he knows this. So I made him some reversible uniforms for his travel ball team. And when they got here, I was like, damn, these look legit. So then I started the Instagram. I started posting pictures, and people started hitting me up. And little by little, I started growing in the basketball world. So then I was like, okay, let me use my network to build my net worth, you know? So I started hitting up all these coaches that I knew from basketball, all these schools that I used to work at, all these administrators that I used to work for. Because in the educational system, you know that people scatter around in different schools. They're not at the same school forever. So, like me, I taught at 5 schools. So that's 5 different schools. I could
Relationships.
I build a bunch of relationships. And I'm not the guy. I don't have problems with anybody. I get down with everybody. So these people gave me chances, and little by little, I started growing. And then now I'm doing all sports, cross country, cheerleading, baseball, volleyball, track, cross country. So with my connect in Ecuador, I get good prices, I get good rates. You know, it's a family business, so I'm able to do a bunch of sports, and it's been growing little by little. So yeah.
So once you said Dre was your first client, um, did you know that like after that when did you see the actual like business opportunity? Because obviously you were doing it for the just to, hey, I need uniforms for my league. Then you had somebody just ask you. Did you think right away like, oh, this is something, or it's like, okay, that's one, or let me see if anybody else wants, and then it just kind of built.
It was slow at first because, like, in Miami, you want, like, people want to see the product. They will go with their old providers a lot of the times. Like, you know, loyalty. I get it. Like, I mean, my barber's been the same barber forever. I don't want to switch it up. You know, my mechanic's been the same guy. So for people to go and take a risk on a full basketball order, sometimes it's a home, away, book bag, shooting shirt, a duffel bag. Like, these orders,
It's a lot of things.
it's a lot of money for coaches to ask these kids and parents, and you don't even know what it's going to look like. So one thing that I did at first, I invested a lot of money into myself. Everything I wear is Besu Customs. Anywhere you see me, I'm wearing Besu Customs so people can see the quality of the stuff. So I would order boxes and boxes of samples, of bags, of jerseys, of tank tops. So I will go show the people, yo, this is what it's going to look like. They'll feel it. They'll see it. They like it. Okay. So at first, I didn't think it was going to be as big as it is now. But I always said I was always teaching and refing. I would do a little bit of uniforms on the side. When I got to Hialeah at Palm Springs, I got down with the assistant principal, and she's like, "Look, I want you to make uniforms for the school." So I was like, "Oh, damn, this is gonna be good." So I wasn't making the polos, but I was making like the hoodies. So over there, they had sixth grade was blue, seventh grade was white, eighth grade was black. So and I'll put the logo and I'll put the class of 2020, 21, 22.
Oh, so it's actually for the students,
For
not
the
even for the
students.
okay,
For the
because like they have to
students.
wear
Yeah,
uniforms.
they
But
gotta
if you
wear
want to wear
uniforms. But this lady,
okay,
Miss Pineda, shout out to Miss Pineda, she was awesome. She gave me a chance. It's because these kids were going, and you know, these older administrators, they don't even know what these kids are wearing, backwoods and all this stuff. And I will have to tell them like, yo,
that's not school
this is
appropriate.
like drugs. No, but it's got. I'm like, no, trust me. So then she's like, so then she one day she goes, yo, no hoodies allowed unless you bought it from the school. It has the school logo, has
Gotcha.
everything. So that helped me. I was selling hundreds and hundreds of hoodies per grade. So then I started making money. So I was like, yo, hold up. Instead of only doing basketball teams of 8 or 10 kids, let me try to do these big orders, these school orders. So then that's when I started branching out into not only athletics, but to casual wear and to bigger school orders. And then the order started coming in, and it's just the same thing. It's just copy and paste. Let's say Marlon, okay, you want 100 white hoodies, 20 medium, 25 large, extra large. I send it to my people in Ecuador. They manufacture it, they ship it. When I get here, all I gotta do is deliver or they pick up. So it's not that difficult for me to, I'm not making the shirts. I'm not printing on them. I'm not cutting and sewing. They're doing the work for me. Yeah, I'm making less profit, but I have a lot of time. So now I'm just bombarding people in their DMs, or I'm sending out emails, and I know it's a numbers game. Out of 100, if 2 or 3 answer and make orders, that's fine. That's stuff. So now it's a word of mouth. So now I don't know if you noticed this basketball season, bro. I had like 15 schools wearing the
a
Besu
lot.
Customs.
I've seen it everywhere, man.
It's growing. So I get schools that call me up. Yo, I saw your uniforms. We played Terra. We like the uniforms. Can you make us some? Boom. Ferguson, Sunset, Homestead. I'm all the way in Broward now. I made a partnership with Sagemont,
Nice,
which is a big time school. They win a lot. I think they're an Under Armour school, but they got elementary and middle. So I make all their stuff. So then some people see Sagemont, where'd you get it? It's just a word of mouth. You know what I'm saying? It grows, and it's if you work, if you're a good person, if you got good prices and it's quality stuff, I mean, it's a no brainer. My biggest competitor is BSN, which is like a national company, but they charge an arm and a leg. So I show these.
Yeah,
athletic,
we used to get our stuff from there at
like
but you can still get like Nike stuff and all this stuff, but it's through essentially a third party company.
So I tell the athletic director, I tell a coach, look, it's the same material. Mesh is mesh, cotton is cotton. Replace that check with my logo. I'm half price. So now instead of just getting your home jerseys for $130, you're getting the home
kit.
and away. Those bags are $90. I'm half price. So you're getting for the same money, you're getting double the stuff, and you're gonna look, and I could personalize it. So I'm putting the kids' names, I'm putting their graduation year, and sometimes those companies they charge even more.
Yeah.
For me, it's an all-in-one price. You know what I'm saying? So it's been growing, it's been going good, and luckily I never burned bridges. I was never the bad guy, so people want to work with me. I produce. I have quick turnaround times. I have good prices. So and then another thing that I learned from Fui, he runs courtside. You gotta have a nice page on Instagram.
Yeah.
Some good pictures, stuff for people to look at and really trust you. So I mean, man, it's going good. I still feel like I haven't even scratched the surface, bro.
So is it just you one still doing it,
It's me by myself.
That's crazy. So like, is there plans to kind of scale, and like what do you think that looks like for you?
So I want to hire somebody to do my social media page.
Mhm.
I want to hire an assistant because I got to do all the invoices. I got to send out these emails. I got to go back and forth with my people with the designs, So I want to grow. I want to have, I think now I'm at the point where I have enough money to start paying other people
Mhm.
because it's just going to level up. If you're doing all this work now, I can go meet these people in person
Mhm.
because I'm writing these emails and then I'm setting appointments and then I'm still delivering stuff. So if
Yeah,
I
it's just
have
time
people, it's
consuming.
just time.
Yeah.
Instead of me going to these schools and landing these deals, I'm wearing 5 hats.
Yeah.
That's not the most productive thing to do. But I feel like now I'm gonna start looking for people to hire, and that's just gonna take the uniform game to the next level because it's I want to be in business like that has a need. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like people need Airbnbs, people need places to stay, schools need uniform
Mhm.
every single year because your 10-year-old kid is gonna
Grow up.
outgrow,
Yep.
and then you need more. So I'm working now. I'm actually working with a school called Pinecrest North,
Mhm.
and they want to do shoes. So I'm
Nice.
I'm trying to find a
Is
shoe
Pinecrest in
connect.
Broward?
No, there's
Like
a
where?
Pinecrest North. It's
Okay.
right in Fontainebleau area,
Okay, gotcha.
and then they want to hopefully they want to do uniforms for all the kids. They want to create like a store for you
Mhm.
to buy the hoodies, the jackets. So those are the deals that I'm trying to land now. I want to land the big
Yeah.
accounts because I'll keep doing the basketball teams, 10, 15 kids, a few items, but imagine getting 1,000
Yeah.
kids. It's the same amount of work. Remember, I'm not doing none of this stuff. I'm just copying the email. I'll send it to them. They do the work. So it's just a bigger way to scale. But yeah, I do need to get more people on my team that they can do the tedious work.
Yeah, the things that take a lot of time. I think one thing, I don't know if you've looked into it, is like VAs are big nowadays, especially if it's like, for like the minuscule things like calling, setting appointments, things like that.
Yeah,
Um that may be a cheaper option than actually hiring somebody here, especially if it's like phone call stuff or like
yeah,
they have their placing orders and things like that. I don't know how your order system goes. But that, and one thing I'm trying to do is actually leverage, a lot of younger talent, especially like, now you're in the school system. So like
yeah,
all these kids that like have like videographer stuff and photography stuff going on. I'm trying to say like, hey, I need, because the hardest thing for me here with the event space is if I'm hosting an event or planning an event, all these things, like you say, wearing different hats. The one thing that sucks is that like a lot of times you're in there, you run an event, you're trying to socialize with everybody
yeah,
and be a gracious host, and you don't take the time to get the content. And
yeah.
that's exactly in this day and age, like
No,
what we're
that's
doing right now, you
content is
need the
king.
content. So like you said with the social media, and I know with Fui, they're killing it at courtside
Yeah,
with
man.
that. I think that's really the thing that's really helped separate themselves is the um I don't want to say gimmick because it sounds disrespectful, but like the they have the entertainment factor going on. They got I think it's dope as hell. They got you know they're showing people what they score. All the different little types of teams and
Yeah, no, he's killing it.
the
He
categories
his
that they got,
marketing,
and absolutely,
like
yo.
he went to college, right? He played college ball at Palm Beach Atlantic, and he was like one class away from getting his degree, and he says that was the best thing that ever happened to me, not getting my degree,
Mm,
because he was going to be a PE teacher, but then he started trainings right away. He
mhm.
started, like, he was an entrepreneur
Yeah.
at 20 something, young. And I mean, he's really good at marketing. He hasn't never taken a marketing class, but he's a visual learner. He learns from everything. But
Mm,
like you said, he does the highlights for everybody. Everybody's got the pictures, the bloopers,
mhm,
the rankings. Like, there's so many things that Courtside provides that nobody else is doing. Now
mhm.
people are copying him
Yeah.
because they see the formula, it's working. They're trying to be like him. And I mean, we all try to be like other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Imitation
Like,
is
if it
flattery. Yeah.
works,
Absolutely.
add it to your own thing. And so he's setting the foundation for like basketball leagues down here. And then now I see soccer leagues are doing stuff like him,
Mhm.
like football's doing stuff like him. So I think he's got the best league in Miami. He's got the most teams. He's got the best content. So, I mean, now he's got a second gym. It's going good.
Mm-hmm.
But marketing, I'm learning a lot about marketing and advertising. Like, it works.
Yeah.
It's like, how are people going to find out that I do uniforms if I don't post, if I
Yeah.
don't reach out to anybody? I get the word of mouth, I get the referrals, but if I could land a new customer that I've never
Yeah.
met, that is obviously going to help.
You have a
It's gonna
broader
grow.
reach too with the social media and stuff too. That's what I'm. It's tough, you know, especially in the beginning, finding that balance because, like you said, you're wearing all the different hats.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I'm definitely trying to do is like leverage, you know, especially like the younger talent because, you know, one might be a little bit cheaper too, but they also are probably like what may take me 20 minutes to post a type of reel, it may take them 30 seconds.
Yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean?
these
So it's
kids,
just time and
like I mean, bro, the younger generation's always
Yeah.
smarter. They're always quicker. They know all the little tricks. We have our own strengths, but they
Mhm.
do also. So I'm also looking for young kids because I was a teacher and I was teaching 7th and 8th grade, and I was like, yo, these kids are smart as hell. They're teaching
Yeah.
me stuff. So for sure, the younger generation is it's always good to look for. And I mean, some of these high school kids that are in these magnet programs, they're already doing this stuff.
Mhm.
They already know the programs. Sometimes they'll volunteer, and sometimes
Mhm.
they'll even work, like you said, for less than an established photographer charges $100 an hour or whatever.
They get the reps in.
Exactly.
Like
Get
that.
the reps in and you could lock them in and you could build something together. So, yeah, that's a good idea. For sure, you need a team, bro.
Sure.
You need a team in everything. In my real estate, I have a team. I have a person for the permits. I have a person, I have my general contractor. I have a plumber, I have a roofer. I have like, it's not one guy that's going to do everything, you know, because yeah, he might be able to do everything, but it's going to take longer.
Mhm.
Like what's happening with me. My growth is limited to my performance. Like I'm only one guy.
Mhm.
So once I start getting these people in, I think it's gonna really take this up a crazy number because it, I can't do everything, bro. There's
Of
no
course,
way.
yeah.
Nobody could do it all.
You need systems, you need team,
You
yeah.
need people. You need photographers. You need DJs. You need people to decorate. Like you can't do all this
Yeah.
by yourself. So yeah, you got to pay a little bit. You're gonna get probably less profit, but now you can do more stuff
Mhm.
and more stuff, and then get money, invest more. Eventually, I mean, maybe you want to have more than one location or bigger location, but you do need a team in everything in life. So for sure, building that all-star team, people that are really gonna ride with you, that are gonna always look out for you and
Yeah.
do the right things for you. I think that's the best way to really grow and get where you want to be.
Absolutely, bro. Can't agree with more. What would you say to, you know, either somebody our age or younger that is thinking of doing something, branching out, they're not sure. Maybe they don't even want to disappoint their parents, especially I know in Caribbean culture, like it's a huge thing. It's like my family has been amazing, so supportive, and you don't want to disappoint them, but sometimes they have an older school way of thinking. They just don't if they can't see it, physically touch it, and then they don't necessarily get it.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be able to portray that and make that leap of faith. So what would you say to like
Yeah, man. My dad was very scared of me leaving the school system. He's like, "Yo, you're right there. You could be an assistant principal. You can do that." He's more of the comfort.
Mhm.
Okay, like how they say in the rich dad poor dad, the comfort is like a killer. Like if I don't take that risk, my mom was always do it, do it. I got her into Airbnb.
Mm.
So my mom has a place in Deltona, but she also has a place in Ecuador. So when it gets cold upstate, she goes to Ecuador and then she rents this place out. I showed her how to create her profile. We took the
Nice.
pictures. So she's like, yo, this is amazing. I can't believe I'm making money while I'm vacationing. When she's over here, she rents out the place in
Mhm.
Ecuador. So it's good. She's more of the risk taker. She's the one that would always try to buy the properties and do all the permits and all that stuff. But what I would tell people is go for it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared. Every person I look up to, they always say failure is like the best teacher, you know? It's not a loss, it's a lesson. Like learn from whatever you messed up at, do it again. Nobody, like I say, like I play ball at courtside, right? And people
Mhm.
get down if they miss a shot. I'm like, yo, nobody shoots 100%, brother. Steph Curry is Hall of Fame. He shoots 40%.
Mhm.
He'll miss 6 out of 10, but he's a Hall of Famer. He's nasty. Yo, you're gonna miss. You're gonna strike out. You're gonna get blocked. You're gonna do whatever stuff are gonna show up on the way to your road to success. But if you get beat by that, you're not gonna make it, bro. Like, get over it. Be tough on yourself and tell yourself, yo, I could get. You could. I mean, bro, it's a little speed bump in the road. Like, it's never a straight line. There's always turns and up and down. So I've been down. I've been up, but I never give excuses, bro. Hold yourself accountable. Be your toughest critic, you know? Like, if something goes wrong, it's always my fault. I never blame anybody else. It's on me. It's on me. What did I do wrong? Let me see how I could do it another way to get a better result. But I feel like if you have an idea, go for it, you know, because maybe that's the thing that's really going to get you where you want to go. Maybe that 9 to 5, like you said, some people have 9 to 5s and a little side hustle, but work on that side hustle because eventually it could replace your 9 to 5 and it could be something big. Um, I think some people don't want to really go for it. They're comfortable, they're scared, which is understandable. I'm scared too. I'm about to pull out some equity to maybe buy another house or keep building on mine, and then maybe it doesn't work. But I think you just gotta be positive. Stuff will work out, and I mean, don't care what anybody else says.
Yeah, you
A
gotta
lot
do
of
it for
people,
yourself.
a lot of people worry. Oh man, what's my mom gonna think? What's my dad gonna think? Remember, they're old school, bro.
Yeah.
These things weren't around back in the days. My parents didn't have internet. Like, they didn't have credit cards. Like, now we have all this technology, all this information, and most importantly, more than taking the risk, more than being a risk taker, you know, I think you gotta learn, bro. You gotta
Yeah.
read books. You gotta watch the podcast, watch the YouTube channels. Just flood yourself with information and really absorb the good stuff. Get rid of the bad stuff, but be a sponge and really learn from other people. Like, get the mentors, get the education. Maybe it's not a traditional education from a school, from a university, but get that info, get educated before you make a bad decision. You know what I'm saying? Like, try to learn as much as possible and then really go after it, bro, because we're in America. You know, in Jamaica, it's not the same as here. In Ecuador, it's not the same as here. We have all the opportunities.
Yeah.
We got all the resources. You could really make it out here in, bro, in one calendar year, you can be in a completely
Complete different
different
space. Yeah.
place. So I went 1 year from refing teaching to, like, I feel like I'm kind of retired, bro. Like, I don't really have a job. It's all passive income. So it's just more and more of that. It's just gonna give me the freedom to do the things that I like. I'll play ball, I could pickle ball, I could work out, I could travel, and it's not like I have to be somewhere. And this is only 2 or 3 years ago. So imagine in 2 or 3 more years, I should have more properties. I should have more vacations. Just live the way I want to live, and then hopefully somebody that's watching could get inspired by one of us and really get the ball rolling, because it's very easy, bro. It's very easy if you really put your head down and start working. That's it, bro. Don't You could do it, bro. It's not impossible.
Do you think it's more simple or it's more easy? Because I think there's a difference. I hear what you're saying.
Okay, what do you mean by simple? What do you mean
So
by easy?
I think when I say easy versus simple, I think the steps, like you said, are simple, but it's not necessarily easy because not everybody has that. So I'm always intrigued as far as, like, because I go through my lapses. I'm not sure like how it was for you. Uh, Maybe even at some of your where the times where you thought, damn, I don't know, like, is this working out? Did I make the right decision? And being able to push through that. It's simple. Yeah. Oh, I just have to wake up. I have to go. I have to talk to people and
Yeah.
but to actually do it isn't for everybody. It's not as easy.
No,
But
I get you. Now I understand what you're saying. It's not easy, right? Because everybody says it. If it's easy, it's probably
everybody do it. Yeah.
everybody could do it, you know. But as I'm getting older, I'm starting to see that it is pretty easy, bro. Like working out is pretty easy, bro. Just go to the gym, work out. It's mostly here, bro. You got to beat yourself.
Yeah.
Wake up on time. I like to cook. I like to have my meals ready. You know, I've always eaten pretty healthy. Some people, that's hard. They like to eat. They like to, you know, indulge in stuff that's not that healthy. For me, it's been pretty easy. Reading a book is pretty easy, bro. Like these things are not hard. You know what I'm saying? Running suicides, that's hard.
Yeah.
But like being organized is not that hard. Being responsible, like you know what you gotta do, bro. Do it.
Just taking the time.
You
to
gotta
actually
just
get it
be
done.
tough on yourself.
Yeah.
No excuses, and it'll get easier. But starting and like creating a routine, creating structure is the hardest part. You know? So some people, they know they gotta do something, but then they go do something else. But they're making a decision. I remember my best friend Alex Bell, he played at Southwest and his coach was Coach Moore. This guy coached forever. He was an awesome coach. And I never played for Southwest, but I used to sub at Southwest. He got me the substitute at Southwest. I was really cool with him. And he always used to tell his players, life's about choices. You choose to do this, there's this type of result, there's this type of result. So the steps are simple. The work is a little bit hard, but it gets easy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You keep showing up, you keep doing it, it's going to get easier and easier. Yeah. Like when we used to ref, we used to break down film. Like I thought I was a fucking awesome ref, but then on tape, I'm like, damn, I'm not that good.
Yeah, I'm slow, I'm lazy, I'm looking.
Yeah, I thought I looked better than that. So it became easier breaking down film and applying the things I needed to do. So I think all work is easy work. If you make it hard and you're going into it with the like, oh, this is gonna be hard, like you're already losing.
Yeah.
If you go in there saying that you can do it, and anything is possible, bro. Like
KG, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Anything possible.
So anything is possible. You just gotta be ready to work.
Yeah.
You know? You just gotta do what you gotta do. And bro, I'm big against blaming people. I'm big against excuses. Like it's all on you, dog.
Yeah.
That's it. You gotta do what you gotta do. Nobody's gonna do the work for you.
Facts.
Nobody's gonna call customers for me. Nobody's gonna do anything for me. It's all on me, bro. That's pretty much it, dog.
Hey, man, couldn't have said it better myself, bro. B, I appreciate you.
For sure.
Thank you for rocking me. This is actually, even though not since the first podcast, my first podcast episode, this is the first episode shot in here at Event Center Miami. So shameless plug for me. Nice. So what do you think about the space? What do you think about the setup? Awesome, if you got anything to say, do me a favor if you could just like kind of talk to that camera.
Man. Hey, shout out to Event Center Miami. This place is beautiful. The podcast setup is nice. We got the lights. We got everything. Marlon's the man. And I'm really excited to come on Thursday. I want to come to all these networking events. I want to check out the spot. And I really think you're onto something, bro. Because you know a lot of people. You're a good dude. I think good stuff is going to come, my boy.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Last thing, if you got anything you want to plug for yourself, your business, your ventures, whatever you got going on, tell people where they can find you.
Yeah, man. Check me out on Instagram, Besu Customs, Besu Customs. Right here, my logo is the profile picture. If you guys need any uniforms, any type of custom gear, we do banners, we do socks, bags, shoes, all types of stuff. Hit me up. And if you guys are interested in playing ball, hit up courtside. I always got to shout out my people. And that's it, man. Have a good one.
Hey, appreciate you, man.
Show.
Watch until the end of this video. If you found the information useful, please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you on the next one.